Hello, everybody. How are you doing? I'm going to be quick tonight. I just have some quick tips to share with regard to how do we move beyond pain and hurt that was caused by a close family relative or a loved one. So, I have been asked this question several times over the past few months. So, I decided to come out here tonight and do a quick tip video on how to help us navigate pain and loss as a result of a loved one or a close family member or friend. So, you guys know what to do. Comment, let me know that you are watching. Again, I will not hold you long tonight. We're going to get in and get out with some quick tips. So, for those of you who do not know me, my name is Lena Lassiter. I am an advanced grief recovery method specialist. I also have my master's in human services counseling with a specialization in trauma PTSD. Um, I'm also the director and founder of Forever Healed. We are a nonprofit, and what we do is we help those who are suffering from a loss of any kind. We want to help them to reclaim, we want to help them to restore, and we want to help them recover in their lives. So I see Forever Healed as though I'm not sure if that is Chastity or Minister Ross. Hello. Thank you for joining. So again, the president and founder of Forever Heal, we are a nonprofit, and what we do is we help those who are suffering from a loss of any kind to restore, reclaim, and recover. We want them to recover. So again, I have been asked by just a few people over the past few months, like, how do I move on beyond this pain and hurt as a result of something done to me by a family member or a close friend? Hi, Tanya. Hello. Nice to see you. Thank you, sis, for always showing up. So I want to give you some quick tips on how to navigate, those particular types of losses. So we also partner with the Richmond Police Department, their Victim Witness Assistance Program, and we offer our services to those who have lost loved ones as a result of homicide. And more recently, we have partnered with our Richmond City Jail to provide our services um, to their inmates and to their staff members. So we have been really busy, missing you guys. So again, I want to come out here tonight and give you some quick tips on how to maneuver through pain and loss as a result of a family member or a close friend. So there are probably varying opinions, I think, with regard to this topic tonight, right? Because um, and I want you to know that it's okay. It's okay, right? So remember that we are all unique. We're all individual. So our experiences and our relationships are going to be unique and individual, right? Our healing journeys will be unique and individual. So again, tonight, for those of you who have just popped on, we're going to be talking about grief and loss associated with pain or trauma caused by a family member or a close friend. How do we forgive? How do we move on? How do we get to a place of healing? So join us tonight, comment. You're going to ask questions. I want this to be very interactive. So just ask questions of me as we go along. So I'm going to give you some quick points on how to navigate through that. So again, there are going to be some varying opinions tonight, and it's okay. It's welcome, right? So you don't have to agree with everything because again, all of our experiences are going to be different. So it's okay to have a different perspective. So how do you forgive the unthinkable? But more specifically, when the violation was at the hands of a loved one or a family member. I have heard many stories of abuse, molestation, control that people have expressed over the years. I myself, you guys already know that, have experienced abuse at the hand of a parent, when I was younger. And when I share that story during seminars, people always ask me at the end the same question every time. How did you forgive your mom? How did you move on? How did you mend that relationship? Because, right, and then they start to share their experience. Hi, Pat. Thank you so much for your support as always. I really appreciate it. I'm always asked that question at the end of a seminar. So tonight I was like, I need to come out and just talk to everyone about this because, again, so many questions have come up with regard to this topic. So some people feel that the neglect or violation at the hand of a family member or loved one should not be forgiven. A lot of people feel that way, right? Others have asked me, again, after seminars, how did you move beyond that point of pain and hurt? And how did you forgive your mom? And how do you talk to her, today? So let's talk about it tonight because I want to help you through your journey. I want to answer questions that you may have, and I want us to be healed. I want us to be whole. I want us to know that it's okay to forgive, right? Even talk about what forgiveness is, because I think there's misinformation even with regard to what forgiveness is. Hi, Angel. Thank you so much. She said she had to get to a point in her life where she had to forgive herself and pray to God and forgive them. Yes, yeah, that's another good point, Angel. Sometimes we don't forgive ourselves, right? And that's a part of the journey as well. So thank you so much for sharing that. I like how Suzanne Eller describes, this topic. She says that we should forgive to live. We should forgive to live. So there are times when we carry like this deep rooted pain and unforgiveness in our hearts. Um, we're truly not living, right? Because it can keep us stuck in this cycle of surviving at times, and then we're just existing. So we're not truly living. So I really like how she kind of coined that, to forgive to live. Again, that's not Lena Lassiter's, that's Suzanne Eller. So I love how she described that. Let's see. Hi, Regina. Hello. Thank you for your support. Love you much. Love you much. Amen. Yes, we must forgive to live. So, Pat, that just, Miss Pat, that just really resonated with me when I read that. And you can check her out too. She has a lot of reading materials and course materials on forgiveness, and she shares her journey as she's writing these books, and they are amazing. So, again, I wanted to share that with you guys. So let's go ahead and jump into this topic tonight because I promise you I'm not going to hold you long. So again, we don't want to get stuck right in this cycle of just surviving and existing. We need to live and not just live, right? We are promised an abundant life, so we want to live our lives to the fullest. So forgiving is more like writing a book. One author says. He says because when we're writing a letter, right, you put your thoughts on paper, you sign it, you seal the envelope, and then you send it off, right? But writing a book involves an endless cycle of writing, and sometimes you have to rewrite it. So forgiveness may be that way for us, right? So we might have to keep forgiving and keep rewriting and keep forgiving, right, for certain offenses. So I love again how he coined that. So forgiveness does not justify what somebody has done. It does not condone what they have done to us. It does not mean that you have to have a relationship with them. So I want to say that again. It doesn't mean that you condone it. It doesn't mean that you have to have a relationship with that individual, and it doesn't mean that you have to justify what was done. Okay. So forgiveness doesn't mean that you need to tell the person that he or she is forgiven. You don't have to go to them and say, I forgive you, right? Forgiveness is giving up the hope of a different or better yesterday. Forgive means to cease to feel resentment against an offender. To forgive, to cease to feel resentment against an offender. To condone means to treat as trivial, harmless, of no importance. So a lot of times people feel like, well, if I forgive, it means I'm letting it go. So I just share with you two definitions. It's two different things. So to forgive means, you know what? I don't even want to feel resentment anymore. I just need to release, the offender. But condoning means that you're treating it as a small offense. It's harmless or there's no importance to it. So when we ask you to forgive, we're not saying that, right? We're not saying treat it as trivial, treat it as harmless or of no importance. We're saying cease to feel the resentment against the offender. So I hope that's helping somebody tonight. Here we go. We got some questions. Can you explain to me why do we have to forgive myself for something that was done against me? Yes, Tanya, I'm going to get into that in just a second. Give me a second, Tanya. I'm going to come back to your question. And Minister Lena, you just answered my question. We do not have a relationship with that person. Thank you. Yes, you don't have to have a relationship, with that individual. You don't. But you can release them, right, of the offense. So it doesn't mean you have to have a relationship with them. Tanya, do not let me forget your question. I'm going to come back to it. I promise you that. As you can see, right, these terms are not one and the same. However, we tend to use them interchangeably, which can impede our healing process. So, acceptance is going to be our first step. Acceptance. So, Lena, what do you mean by that? Accept how you felt about the offense and how you may have reacted. So, in order to forgive, we need to acknowledge, right, the reality of what occurred and how we may have been affected. Because sometimes people are quick to tell us, well, you don't feel that way or you don't mean that. No, it's okay. It's okay that you feel that way, right? Just accept how it made you feel and how you reacted, to the offense. So, back to Tanya's question, because Tanya was saying, okay, well, why do I need to forgive myself? Sometimes you have to forgive yourself, Tanya, because of how you reacted, to it, right? So let me just give you an example. Let me just use myself. So as a child being abused, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything to deserve what happened to me, right? I didn't do anything to cause that. It wasn't my fault. But I tell you what I did, Tanya, for years. I wore a coat of anger. I wore a coat of bitterness. I wore a coat of unforgiveness. I wore a coat of being cautious. I wore a coat of a wall being up. So if anybody tried to get close to me, what I would try to do was, I'm going to push you away before you can hurt me, because I was always questioning somebody's motive. So why do I need to forgive myself? For being angry, for being bitter, for taking it out on, other people who had nothing to do with it. Because we all know, you've heard me say this before, right? Hurt people hurt people. So sometimes it's just forgiving yourself. So I hope that answered your question, Tanya. I knew I was going to get to that. So the first step in this journey is acceptance, right? The second thing I want us to do is, sometimes people say, I'm trying to find reason in this. I hear that a lot. And what I want you to do is, I'm sorry. People say, I'm trying to find, what's the reason in this, right? I want you to find the purpose in it. Reason versus purpose. Why? Oftentimes we spin our wheels and trying to find the cause, right? We need an explanation. We want the justification for an offense. And let me tell you something, guys. We can't logically make sense of dysfunction. It's dysfunctional. And we can't normalize it. So you can't rationalize in your mind like why something happened. So what I want you to do is, I want you to seek purpose in it. So in seeking purpose, I want you to ask yourself, what did you learn about yourself? So see, Tanya, what I learned about myself was, gosh, initially I was just an angry, hurt person, very bitter, and didn't want anybody to get close to me. Or you can ask yourself, maybe you discover what your needs were, what your boundaries were, what your true purpose is. So for me, my purpose is what? Forever healed, coming out here, inspiring all of you, encouraging all of you, letting you know that regardless of what you went through, you're still here and it's bigger than you. And you can share your testimony to inspire and encourage somebody else, your story. And sometimes people say, oh, well, we all have a story. Yeah, we do. But you know what? Sometimes somebody need to hear your story. They don't need to hear Lena Lassiter's story. Sometimes they need to hear your story. Also, remember that not only did you survive the incident, perhaps you grew from it, right? So, in that growth, how can your testimony touch the lives of others? Also, how can you further not outlive the situation but conquer it? I want you to even change your mindset about saying that I was a survivor of this or a survivor of that. Because surviving just means that you just outlived it. That's it. So you can still be tormented and outlived it. I don't want you to be tormented in your minds. I want you to truly be healed. So, how do you get to a place of conquering that thing versus just outliving it? So, I want you to look for the purpose. Look for the purpose. I see other comments coming in. Let's see. Yep. I learned to love them from a distance. Yes, Angel, you can definitely do that. You're welcome, Tanya. And again, feel free to ask any questions tonight of me, okay? The third thing is so, number one, acceptance. Number two, I want you to look at reason versus purpose. And then number three, I want you to take action. So, forgiveness, healing, and recovery all take action, not a feeling. You can't feel something that you have not done. So, grievers will say to me sometimes, well, I just don't feel it because you haven't done it. You haven't taken the steps to forgive, right? And you can't feel something that you haven't done. So, your feelings will follow the actions. So, whether the action is talking to a therapist, it's okay, people, to talk to a therapist or a counselor. Whether your action is going to a support group, whether your action is grief recovery, whether your action is gleaning in on your faith, you must take the initial steps to begin your healing journey. But take action. I need you to take action. Let's see. It was hurting me not to forgive. Yes, it held heavy on my heart. Yes, 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 yes. Because forgiveness is for us. It's for us. Because otherwise you're just carrying the weight around of what that individual did. It's living in your mind. You're carrying it around, and you best believe that it's making an impact, whether it's a positive or negative impact on future relationships or your current relationships. It's heavy. And something that's heavy will tend to drag you down, Miss Pat. And who's it dragging down? It's dragging you down because you're carrying all that baggage. So that's what forgiveness is all about. I would love to help young kids come out and tell when your family members are molesting you. Yes, Tanya, the purpose in it. Because as children, a lot of times, who do you tell? You're afraid to tell sometimes. And especially if your perpetrator is in the same household. I mean, because I know for me, I was like, I ain't saying nothing because I got to go back home. And what's going to happen to me? And then sometimes, depending on what you have gone through, and again, they're all different. Everybody's scenario is going to be different. What you have gone through, you may still have that desire, right, to have that relationship, especially as a parent, because you want that nurturing, that love, right, that support from that parent. So, absolutely right. So the fourth thing, after we have taken action, remember our action, that's going to be the first step towards our healing. So whatever that looks like for you. So again, support groups, counseling, your faith, your scripture, your word, whatever that looks like for you. Take that first step. This is how we get to compassion. Number 4, in a healed state, you can look deeper beyond the act and you can focus on the violator. Oh my gosh, Lena, why do I want to do that? It means that you can see his or her damaged past sometimes. You can see their skewed thinking. You can see their hurt. And you know what? In your hurt, you can't see their hurt. In their hurt, you can't see their skewed thoughts. In your hurt, you can't see misinformation that they may have given. In your hurt, you can't see that maybe their parents abused them. In your hurt, you can't see that maybe their actions are because of drugs or alcohol abuse. In your hurt, you can't see that, right? So when you're healed, you can see things a little bit differently and you can see, oh my gosh, maybe they were molested. Again, I'm not saying that it's right what happened to you, but you can say, oh my gosh, maybe they're just a hurt individual. Maybe they were molested. Maybe they were abused. Maybe they were controlled. right? And then you start having compassion for them. And guess what? And then you start praying for them, right? So forgiveness will allow you to give up the resentment and truly see the person from a different viewpoint, from a heart of compassion. So that's what I mean, by compassion. I see another comment. We go, wow, yes, see through it. Yeah, 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 yeah. And then it's a daily process. It's a daily process. So forgiveness can be a daily process. You may have to forgive what 70 times 7, right? So like I said earlier, it may be like writing a book with a lot of chapters that are changing, especially if you are still in contact, right, with the offender. Sometimes some things they may say might trigger you a little bit. And then you know that you have some deeper work to do, right? So it may be a daily thing, especially somebody's verbally abusive and you're talking to them on the phone and they're still kind of verbally abusive and you go, whoop, that kind of cut a little bit deep and it took me back, right? So I gotta forgive right now for today. And again, this is why sometimes it's okay to release them. It's okay to release them. You don't have to have relationships with them. Um, you have to set boundaries. You have to set boundaries. And this is what I share a lot when people ask me, how did you push through? You set boundaries, right? So a person with healthy boundaries understands that making their expectations clear, it helps in two ways. It establishes what behavior you will accept from other people, and it also establishes what behavior other people can expect from you. So understand your personal needs, your wants, and know how to communicate them. Value your own opinions and feelings and accept that it's okay to say no. And here's what I mean. So again, if somebody, is verbally abusive, you know what, Lena Lassiter? You are not going to talk to me that way. You're going to talk to me in a respectful manner. And if we cannot have respectful conversations that are two way, then we're not gonna talk. And I'm saying this to you in love, but you're not gonna treat me that way. So it's okay to teach people how to treat you. And it's okay to have those boundaries. And if you have someone calling and they're constantly negative and you're trying to turn it around with some positive words and they're still negative, again, establish your boundaries. You know what? It sounds like you are not in a good place. But I know, answering a fool according to his folly, what does that make me? And I'm not going to be pulled into, this conversation. So we can have a conversation once you're in a better place. I'll pray for you or whatever it is. It's okay to set those boundaries and those expectations. And that's okay. Because that's for your well-being. That's for your mindset. That's it's for you. It's for you. So Tanya says, so how do you forgive? So again, Tanya, it's action steps, right? So whatever happened to you or whoever's on this line, whatever the offense was, the first step is to accept what happened. Like, okay, this happened to me. This is how it made me feel. And then if you feel like you need to go and get some help to recover from that, that's the second step. So all these steps are a part of the forgiveness walk. So you go talk to somebody, you get the help, whether again, it's one-on-one counseling, group sessions, grief recovery, whatever it looks like for you. And you get yourself some help. And then what I will say that you do, again, you don't have to go tell the person that you forgive them. You can write it out and release it. I forgive Lena for, what she said to me, how she made me feel on whatever date. And you can write it out and release it that way. And the reason why I say you don't have to tell the person is sometimes people aren't ready. People aren't ready for you to come to them and say that, you have hurt them. And then what happens? If they're not ready, they're not in a position or a posture to receive that and to own what they've done, it's going to cause you more hurt and heartache because they may say something that's going to trigger you even more. What are you talking about? I didn't do that to you. Or you still haven't gotten over that yet? That's going to crush you. So you have to even understand again, right, who the person is. So in a healed state, you can see, right, who they are and what's driving their actions. And then you just can write it out. So that forgiveness piece is for you. So again, whatever that looks like, write it down, what they did. You can write them a letter and not mail it to them. You can write a letter and throw it away. And then set boundaries. Ask yourself, should I continue on with the relationship? Is that healthy for me? Or is it best for me to release this resentment, right? I choose in my mind and I have released it to not hold this resentment, but is it safe for me to continue on with the relationship with them? And if the answer is no, that's okay. As long as you're not holding in that resentment and that bitterness, it's okay. You don't have to allow someone to continually, hurt you. But if you still have a relationship with them, this is where you're going to set your boundaries. You know what? In the past, when you have said this, it's truly hurt me, but I've moved on. I'm in a healthier place now. Moving forward, this is what I expect out of our relationship. And if you can't adhere to this, then we're not going to have a relationship. So set the boundaries. Set the boundaries. So I hope that helped, Tanya. Let me see. Oh, she said they both lied about it. Yep. hmm What hurt the most is when I told mommy she believed her brothers over me. Yeah, that's painful. Yeah, that's painful too. And this is why I said you have to know and accept your truth, right? And sometimes it's painful for others. Like again, I can't speak for your situation, but sometimes it's painful for others, like a mother who knew that her child was molested. It hurts them to admit to that, Tanya, sometimes because they feel like I didn't protect you. And they're still holding that hurt and that unforgiveness, um, of themselves sometimes. And looking at their kids or whoever it happened to, it reminds them of that. So that's the reason sometimes, right? Because we kind of suppress stuff. We pretend it doesn't happen. What goes on in this house stays in this house, that kind of mentality. So that's why sometimes they say they don't believe it because we can just push this under the rug and not have to deal with it. But it's not about somebody not believing you. It's about your truth and it's about you letting go of that resentment against, and I know who did this to you, but you just letting go of that resentment to continue to carry them around. You don't want to keep carrying them around. You don't want to keep carrying them around. They're too heavy. So, in order for you to be free, I'm just going to release the resentment against these individuals. Mommy didn't believe me, but that's okay. I know my truth, and I'm going to walk in my truth. And my purpose in this is what? Right? So, like you said, helping other kids and other adolescents and other women, Tanya, who have been hurt. So that's your purpose. Your purpose is not trying to make somebody believe you. It's okay. Sometimes your perpetrator will say, well, what are you talking about? I didn't do that to you. But you remind them of what happened. And that's just the truth. But our job is not to convince them. Our job is not to make somebody believe us. Our job is to say, you know what? If I truly want to forgive, I'm going to let go of this resentment. I'm going to walk in love. And I'm going to find my purpose in this. Why am I still here? And that's what I want you to do. And I hope that helped. I hope that helped, Tanya. All right. So walking in forgiveness when we have been traumatized, victimized by someone in our family or a close family friend, how do we forgive? So again, real quick, we talked about acceptance, right? Accept how you felt about the offense and how you may have reacted. We talked about reason versus purpose. We spend too much time trying to explain things that are dysfunctional. We try to make them normal. You can't rationalize that. So What's the purpose? You're still here, right? You survived the incident. How did you grow from it? I want you to take action. What does that look like? Go get your healing. I need you healed. I need you whole. I need you restored, right? Forgiveness, healing, and recovery. There, it's all actions. It's not about feeling. You can't feel something that you haven't done. If you haven't forgiven, you can't feel it. The feelings will follow the action. And I'm telling you, you're gonna feel lighter after you have forgiven. In a forgiven, healed state, you can have compassion. You can look deeper beyond the act and focus on the violator. And again, focus on what may have caused that. Were they violated? Were they in an unstable home? Were they in a dysfunctional home? Was it, drugs and alcohol? What is it that drove that? Because it wasn't you. It wasn't your fault. And remember, it's a daily process, right? 70 times 7 is what I know I have to do. So sometimes it's a daily process, renewing our minds, right? The way that we think and how we think about it. And the offender, I want to see him how God sees him, right? And then we want to set boundaries, healthy boundaries. What do you need? What do you expect? Make it clear, make it plain. And then value your own opinion, value yourself and your feelings, and accept that it's okay to say no. You do not have to let someone continue to abuse you. Yeah. Man found me on Facebook and apologized. Yeah. Because sometimes, Regina, they go through their own healing journey and they realize what they've done, right? And they come back and they apologize. And I want to say something real quick about that too. Apologize. If you know you have hurt someone, you have done something to cause somebody pain, do that. Apologize. Say you're sorry. And I have said this before. I'm gonna say it again. Don't ask them to forgive you. Don't ask them to take an action step for something that you've done. Own it. Own it. And Regina, I hope that helped you, that person reaching out, and apologizing. Tanya, you are so welcome. Thank you for being open and honest about what you have gone through and, sharing your story on here. I know that's not easy. It's not easy, to come out here and share what has happened to you. So I appreciate you being bold enough to come on and share. So thank you. I needed to hear these nuggets tonight. Love you. Thank you. You are welcome. So I hope this helped tonight. If this video you think will help someone else, again, these are just quick little nuggets, It's not an inclusive list, but I just want to get out here because I'm asked this question quite often. So I want to help. If you're stuck in your grief because of something like this happening to you, reach out to us at foreverheal.com. We can help you, get you scheduled one-on-one or group sessions. Share this video if you think others would benefit from it. I hope that you guys feel inspired. I hope that you feel uplifted. I hope that you feel that you can go on. I hope that you feel that you can be more than conquerors and not just be a survivor. I hope you feel all of that tonight. Owning your offense is key to healing for all parties. Yes, Doris. Yes. So I cringe when someone says, please forgive me. And I know why we do that, because, we were taught to do that, but own it. I'm sorry for what I did. I'm not going to ask you to take another step for something that I've done to you. So I pray that you guys have really learned something tonight. Try to give you some nuggets. I appreciate all of you. I love you. Thank you for your support. I truly appreciate it. Great things are happening, for Forever Healed. We're going to come out and kind of share all of our testimony as well. It's just been a blessing, all the partnerships and, people calling out and speaking engagements. It's just been overwhelming. So I say that to all of you. If you have dreams and goals, keep pushing. Don't give up. This hasn't been an overnight thing for us. It's been years. So put the work in. Don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged by the no's because it's just no for that moment. And trust me, all you need is the one connection. And I want you to stay authentic to who you are. Yeah, you can learn from others, but don't try to do it their way. Don't try to do it my way. You do it the way that God has purposed for you to do it. And trust me, when we do it that way, everything that you're doing, your businesses, your nonprofits, your ministries, your purpose, all those things, the Bible says that generations behind you are going to benefit from it. So you don't want to rush it. I just want you to trust in whatever your goals are, your visions are, your dreams are, your businesses are. Dust them off and go get it. Go get it. It may take a little longer than what you expect, but God is perfecting some things in you. I don't know how I got off on that, but I just want you to know it's coming. It's coming. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your business. Don't give up on your dreams. Okay. So I love y'all. Have a great night, peaceful rest. And if I don't have any more questions, I will let you guys go. I see ya. Amen. I love y'all. Peaceful rest. Good night. He said he needed. Yep. Good. Nephew. Thank you. Thank you. Love y'all.